I broke up with my boyfriend over the dog.
Why?
We got in a fight because welcome to Life Unleashed.
The podcast all about creating the best life for you and your furry best friend.
If you're a dog mom on the go, juggling life, work, and the endless joys of being a dog parent, then you're in the right place. I'm Dani.
And I'm Nick.
And together with the incredible dog mom community from Tails Up Pup, we're here to share advice, stories, and the obsession we have over the love for our dogs.
Get ready to laugh, learn, and lean on each other because life with your dog just got even more awesome.
Welcome back. For some reason, I am feeling a little rusty today. I'm like not prepared for what I'm going to say.
Rusty?
Do we have any life updates?
Have you ever been rusty for like a thing like this? I feel like you're always like one take wonder, you're ready to go.
You know, that's what people called me in high school.
One take wonder?
No, rusty, because I have red hair.
Your hair actually is kind of the color of rust.
Yeah.
That makes it seem like it's not pretty though.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Rust is kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any life updates or fun things you would like to share with the world?
Well, Callan so badly wants to walk, but he can't yet.
He can't yet, but it's coming soon.
My book progress is going along very nicely, but it is just so much work. It's like you're trying to build something that's like, it's like building a house. It's like you don't build a house in a day. You know, it's like you got to start with the foundation and work your way up.
Have you ever built a house?
No, but like you see houses and they take some time to build. And so I feel like writing a book is very similar. It's a lot of work. The big difference is because this is my first house, my first book that I'm writing, there's a lot of mistakes that I'm making. And so I think it's going to take even longer because of that.
Do you already feel like you would know how to do things differently next time?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and a lot of it has to do with even like what works for somebody else may not work for you. And so like you just have to experiment and see what works for you, as well as there's just certainly things that like the experience you're just gonna like the more you do something, the better you get at it.
All right, well, I guess we can jump in because our life is boring and we don't have that many updates.
Well, I mean, we have a podcast every single week, so it's like not that there's that many.
Welcome
from week to week
to Confessions of a Dog Mom. But I feel like we need a jingle. Welcome, Confessions
of a Dog Mom.
Okay, so I have not read through all of these, so this is not in any order. I feel like we should have started with like the craziest one, but you're getting our raw and real reactions to the things that people submitted. So I put on the stories. Let us know the craziest thing you've done for your dog, anything like that you think other people might think is crazy. And we got a lot of responses. So we actually tried to start filming this like in real time, and then I was like, Nick, we got to come back because people are submitting their things.
Yeah, and like we don't have enough stuff from just like our experiences to make like a full podcast about that. I feel like the only really crazy things that we do for our dogs, we throw them pretty fun birthday parties, and like we travel a lot of places with our dogs. But besides that, like we're not that crazy.
Some of these are short because they like responded to the question thing, and then some people like wrote me their whole story in a DM. So I'll try to maybe spread out the short ones and the long ones.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. First up, Olivia says she put her life in storage and road tripped with her dogs for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. We should ask her where she went.
Wow, did she like document that whole process? That seems like it should be like a little TV show.
That should be a TV show.
Life on the road with my dog.
What we found is that a lot of places are not dog friendly. So I wonder where she went and what she did, because like national parks are not dog friendly. You have to go to like special parks.
Yeah, it's kind of like unfortunate that like the national parks and things, like I understand maybe a little bit where they're coming from, but like if people just are responsible with their dogs, like make it like a fine or something if like somebody doesn't clean up after their dog or something, rather than like make it not like bad for the rest of us where we can't bring our dogs. You know, if that's what they're worried about.
Too crowded.
I don't know what for sure they're worried about. Like but whatever they are, just like, you know, I don't know, come up with some other reason versus like banning dogs completely.
Okay, Gigi said, threw my Golden a pool birthday party with 24 other dogs in attendance. She said it was so fun.
A pool party with dogs. Gracie would literally love that.
Yeah, so last year Gracie had a pool party, but we didn't invite anyone. And this year Holly's turning 7, so we're doing splashing into 7, but still no one is invited to the party.
Well, partially that's because Holly doesn't always get along with other dogs.
She doesn't really have any friends.
Well, she wants to, but she's a little bit too much.
Yeah, she wants to be the bossy one.
She either wants to be friends or fight them, so she just never knows. Holly does really well with other dogs that are like more submissive like Gracie, but like if it's another dog that like also wants to be kind of like an alpha and bossy, then they fight. They always do.
This one's kind of nasty, but it is wild. When I had my mini Doxy, she developed a condition in her old age where her bowel motility slowed down and she would have a hard time passing movements. I can't remember the name of the condition. This almost took her life twice because she got so backed up and impacted that nothing was working to clear her out. When we eventually figured out what was going on and got her on a medication regimen, it became vital that she poop daily to keep things moving. Other than this pooping issue, you never would have known she was an elderly dog, so we weren't worried about her quality of life at this point. Needless to say, I had to keep doggy enemas in my house and disposable gloves in my pockets at all times in case she ever needed assistance with finishing her bathroom trips.
That is dedication.
That is dedication.
That's really sad for the dog and the person because like that's a lot of work.
She added a little PS. In case you were wondering how big of a poop a mini Doxy could have, the answer is 18 plus.
Wait, what?
I think she's meaning 18 inches of poop.
That
She said she had to help pull it out with gloves.
That is insane. What?
I didn't think anyone was going to write anything like that. I thought they were going to be like, the traveling stuff or that's not pulling.
Well, we'll just leave
out.
that one there. That is crazy, and you deserve a gold star for helping with that.
Okay, Abby says, I have a really bougie expensive blanket, and then I bought my dogs each one of their own, too. I feel like
everyone got a bougie expensive blanket.
That's something I would do.
No, you would not.
Yeah.
You would not buy them the expensive blanket.
Yeah.
Would you?
They love their blankets.
I could see you like being like, Gracie needs her own weighted blanket.
Yeah.
She needs it like mom.
Yeah.
I could see you doing that.
Gabby says, we drive 21 hours cross country. We refuse to put them in the cargo of the plane.
Yeah, we would be that way. I
Yeah,
mean, we don't drive that far, but we drive to Pennsylvania with them every year. This year, Danielle flew and I still drove with the dogs.
I don't think our dogs would do well in cargo of a plane. They would be
No way.
stressed out.
Would anyone do well in cargo? No one. So
Yeah,
your
some
dogs,
dogs I feel like don't care as much.
I don't know about that. I feel like it's not a good experience for any of them. Probably not ideal.
This person said, brought my dog back a small piece of Wagyu steak from dinner. It was an $88 steak.
That dog was eating so good that
I bet
night.
they loved it.
They probably inhaled it though. Like if it was Gracie wouldn't have tasted it. She just would have one bite.
Brittany says, we took our dog on a boat on a dolphin tour one vacation. I wonder.
Do you think I bet the dogs probably could see him and were probably like, what the heck is that? Or do you think they were scared?
I bet they wanted to jump off.
I could see Gracie barking at the dolphins.
Yeah, she probably would jump off a boat, don't you think?
Yeah, she definitely would. That's fun though, like taking your dog on a boat. You don't think about that often.
Ooh, speaking of blankets.
Can you take your dog on a cruise?
Probably not.
Maybe there's some dog-friendly cruises. That'd be cool.
Probably not.
Business idea.
Okay, this girl, Amanda, says she had to have a $2,500 surgery to remove a blanket from the dog's stomach. Worth every penny, though.
The dog ate a blanket?
I guess so. So beware of blankets with your dogs.
Well, you just got to be vigilant of like whatever they eat. Gracie is notorious for like, particularly toys. She will like consume a toy. So like we have to be very careful about that. Vet stuff is not cheap.
One time I was at the dog park with 2 male dogs and they were saying hi to another dog. So sweet, right? Then one of the dogs starts sniffing the owner, then lifts his leg and pees on her.
Oh my gosh.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah, like boy dogs that do that, I could see that happening. Girl dogs, that doesn't really, because they don't like lift their leg. I feel like that's not really going to happen. But like I could see that happening with a boy dog.
Yeah, we've had some boy dogs come and they were like so excited and they did almost pee on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny. What do you say if your dog is the one that pees on somebody? Like, sorry? Can I buy you a new pair of shoes?
Can I find you a hose?
Oh my gosh.
We decided to go camping so we could bring the pups. I picked a spot outside of Savannah, so a 5-hour drive, hours of prepping, get to the site, let the dogs run around. I find 6 ticks on the dog, who, due to being epileptic, can't be on tick meds. So we pack all of our stuff up. I made my husband drive back immediately. It made for an incredibly long and miserable day. We had to bathe both pups immediately when we got home.
6 ticks right away.
So they basically drove 10 hours and did all this planning just to not even have their trip.
Oh my gosh, that sounds miserable.
That sucks.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. There's so many parts about that story that are sad. Like, it's sad the dogs got them. It's sad that like you were looking forward to this trip. I bet they would have had such a good time. And then you had to drive all the way back.
Maybe we would have found like a hotel to go to or something. I don't know. We would have.
I mean,
driven back home.
dog-friendly hotels are like hard to come by, probably.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but like with your dogs, it's not like you can be like, oh, well, we're gonna keep them from like exploring outside. It's like they're gonna probably get ticks. And I mean, what about you guys? You probably could have gotten some ticks if you camped there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We moved apartments in the same complex as we already were living in, so that the dog could have his own bedroom. He just stays in there during the day while I'm working and can go in and out as he pleases. Of course, he still sleeps with me. He's in the process right now of getting his own bedroom furniture, like a couch or an actual bed. He currently has his own TV and usually watches Bob Ross all day.
I do feel like that's not the most uncommon thing ever. That's so funny, like moving and getting like why are you moving for a 2-bedroom apartment? Well, you know, I have a roommate, my dog.
The bedroom is extra. I feel like a lot of people will move for a yard or something, or like a friendly walking place.
But it's definitely extra. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not like that crazy. I mean, like, I might do that. I feel like we wouldn't have moved for that reason probably, but like I could see you being like, Nick, we need the 2-bedroom so that the dogs have their own space.
At least you would need like the closet and storage, because they have a lot of stuff.
They have a lot of stuff, and they like to have their own space.
Yeah, they really don't though. They like to be in my space.
Sometimes, but then like Holly likes to go into our room all the time.
Yeah, I wonder if she had her own bed, if she would actually utilize it.
That's funny. Gracie has her own couch. We got them a couch.
This was one that we could relate to. She said she had to miss her siblings' graduation for their masters from Wake Forest because the parents were out of town, obviously, and so were her in-laws. So one of her dogs who can't be boarded, like she had to stay home and be with the dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I can see that happening for us.
Yeah, it really sucks. Like right now, we're even trying to plan time to go see my family, and it's like always an ordeal to have to find somewhere for the dogs to go, who can watch the dogs so that we can both leave. And it is definitely a hassle. I feel like dogs...
Because we can't board Holly.
Yeah, dogs are harder than kids because you can't just bring them wherever easily.
Yeah, you have to find like a dog-friendly place, and like just there's so much stuff that goes involved. And like if you have to fly, then you know now you're having to drive really far instead. Yeah, the dogs are kind of harder than kids when it comes to that. Like it just like it's not you can't just bring your dog onto the plane just because you want to, like you could with a kid.
So one of our friends submitted some things, and when she was submitting them, I was like, wait, I have a story I could tell. One time, I was babysitting someone's dog, this girl's dog, and she required me to wipe the dog's booty with wipes after.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's sanitary. Makes sense.
I guess it kind of does, but like, I don't think many people are doing that.
I do wonder how many people are wiping their dog's booty after. I did do it because she asked and I was babysitting, but I would not do that for my own dogs.
I wonder with something like that, like, you know, in nature and things like that, animals aren't doing that. Is that like actually good for them? I wonder.
So she is a very extra dog mom. She has her dog go to school, you know, doggy daycare, I think 2 or 3 times a week. And she signs him up for a water park Wednesday. They have career day. Like she will buy all the extras that the place has. And they
career day.
Yeah, they have career day where they like, I think they like set different things out and they let the dog choose. So I think both years in a row now he's been a mailman, and they like literally dress him up and take a little photo and send it home.
That's fun.
Yeah, and yeah, they have the water park Wednesday. They have like ice cream day, all those fun things.
Wow, that dog is living the life.
Living the life.
Do I know this dog?
Yeah,
I think I do.
They do Olympics. She says that her dog loves sitting in the front seat of the car, and she will sit in the back seat so that the dog can have the front seat.
That's extra.
Yeah,
That's very extra.
You will always take your favorite seat.
I don't.
Yeah.
For you, I'll
Yeah,
give you
no,
the front seat.
for a dog, you would not.
No.
I broke up with my boyfriend over the dog.
Why?
We got in a fight because the dog slept in the bed between us and he should sleep in his own bed. Hadn't mentioned the issue for the previous 2 years. Got in my car at 3 a.m. and drove home to my parents' house.
Wait. Go back. So
the dog was sleeping in the bed in between them, and he was saying the dog should sleep in its own bed.
Should sleep in his own bed?
Yeah. But like the fight was so bad that I think it seems like he had this pent up anger for 2 years over this issue and just lashed out, and they broke up.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know like how bad the fight was, but that seems like pretty drastic.
But even if like she was like, no, the dog's going to stay in the bed. And if he's like, no, then like there's no resolution.
Yeah. I mean, would you, if I was like, the dogs couldn't be in our bed, would you like be like, can't be with you?
I don't know. I mean, that's hard. I would have to come at you with some like good reasons on why.
Why they can be?
Yeah. Like you tried telling Gracie no. She loves that bed.
Yeah. I'm fine with them to be in the bed as long as they're not touching me.
And Gracie knows that. She will not touch Nick.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not a fan of like the dog laying on me. Like you don't mind that as much, but I'm not really a fan of the dog laying on me. But you know, I feel like in that relationship, they should have like said something at the beginning that would have saved them all that time.
There's lots of people who are talking about the driving and vacation, like driving 22 hours one way versus taking a 2-hour flight so our dog could come on vacation. Maeve said drove 12 hours to meet us, and people thought she was crazy for driving and bringing toast, but it was worth it.
No, that is so worth it. We are 100% on the, you got to drive the extra bit to make it to where your dogs can come. We do it to Pennsylvania every year just because of them.
Michelle says she calls in sick when her dog looks sad. It's a monthly occurrence.
A monthly occurrence?
She said. We are renovating a storage building behind our home for the dogs.
Oh, that's cool.
Throwing them a full-on birthday party with catered food and presents. I feel like that is standard in the Tales of Pup community.
Yes.
Our number one selling bandana is the birthday bandana. Now we sell birthday hats. We've had the birthday bash bundle. We always sell all these birthday things.
You got to throw a birthday party for your dog.
Gigi said brought both dogs on our honeymoon.
That would have been so fun.
That would have been fun.
I really want to bring, that would have been really fun. It would have been cool if we like could have brought like our dogs. We didn't have the dogs then, but like if we had the dogs and we were getting married, that would have been really cool to have them like in Aruba.
Drove from Minnesota to Savannah so my girls could see the ocean for the first time. I bought an
That's a long drive.
She said I bought an RV so we could go to the beach with my dogs.
Bought an RV?
Yep. That's dream
cool.
life.
Yeah. That would be my mom. My mom would buy an RV just so her dogs could come everywhere with her. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else said took them on our honeymoon. They should be friends.
We would have if we had them, and we could have.
Okay, we'll end with this one. Another driving one. But she said she has so many stories. We lived in Arkansas for a couple years and had some back-to-back events. Went home to visit family in New York. Drove 17 hours. And we then took our dog on a drive from New York to Colorado for a wedding for my husband that he was in. Drove out of the way to stop in South Dakota for a quick vacation for a few nights, 24 hours driving. Then went on to Colorado, another 7 hours for a few nights before going back to Arkansas, 17 hours. Also, we didn't have to leave the dog behind because he hates being boarded. It was quite the 2 weeks, mostly in the car. Needless to say, our dog now hates the car.
Yeah, I bet you hate the car too.
Yeah, that's so much driving.
That is an insane amount of driving. That's the other thing too that's tough. Like, we know that our dogs, like, when we go to Pennsylvania, they don't like that drive. I mean, we don't like it, and they really don't like it. So it's like, but they probably like it more than the other option.
Yeah, they tolerate it.
Yeah, they tolerate it. And
I feel like all these stories are just to say that our dogs are our family, and it is clear that the Tales of the Tails Up pup community feels the same way, and we will do anything for our dogs.
Yeah, if it's kind of like if they're your family, how would you treat your family? Well, you wouldn't board your family member. You wouldn't be like, yeah, you have to go stay in this little place. I mean, some boarding places are good. I'm not trying to knock those. But like, you're bringing them if you can.
Yeah. Like, we want to experience life with them.
And not only bringing them if you can, you're choosing places you can go so that they can come.
Oh, I heard a quote the other day. It was that the dogs are just a part of our life, but we're their whole life.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah, when you think about like their birthdays, they don't have that many birthdays compared to like people.
Yeah.
And so like you got to really help them live it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw this like one little video, and it's like, it might not seem, it's like this dog sitting next to like a man at a fire, and it's like, this is just like a regular thing for you, but like it's making that dog's day.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes like people who are not dog people or like don't understand, they're like, oh, how do you have a whole business that has to do with dogs? And like, even I just bought Holly and Gracie's birthday treats. That girl's whole entire business is just treats. And so it's like, this can be someone's whole livelihood, because there are people who love their dogs so much that they will buy these things for their dogs. And I think that's pretty cool too. Like the circle of small business life, like,
Well, the world is a big place. I mean, even just like for us, like the U.S. is a big place. And like, there's a lot of people out there that have dogs, that love them, that believe the same thing that we do, that they're part of the family. And when you believe that, you act accordingly.
And it's so fun when we meet someone and we tell them what we do. Almost instantly, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this person in my life would love that. And it's like, they can think of someone who loves their dog so much that would like something that we do.
Yeah, that's really true. But like on the equal opposite side, particularly when we used to do those like farmer or the artisan market things, there was always like, it was mostly the men that were with like their wives or girlfriends, when it was like, you could tell like the guy totally didn't get it. And like was so like, it didn't make any sense what we did.
There definitely are less men obsessed with their dogs, even though they say dogs are a man's best friend. I feel like that's not true, because they're definitely a woman's best friend.
There's guys that like, I just feel like they might be obsessed with their dogs in different ways. Like they're not going to be like the dress them up, like they're the birthday party. They're like, take them hiking and do all the crazy stuff with them maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes me really sad for all the dogs that are part of families that they don't treat them that way.
I know.
It's like, that's, I feel like it's kind of like if you saw like a kid not being treated right, I mean, it's not exactly like that, but like, it's still a little bit like, that's really sad. Like when I go by places and you see like a dog and it's just like chained up outside or something, like I'm like, oh my,
that dog
that's
is living
cruel.
Such a different life than our dogs.
Well, that was a fun episode. I'm very glad to know that like everybody else in the Tales of Pup community feels the same way that we do, and it makes me feel that we're less crazy.
I feel like it would be fun for people I doubt that anyone would respond, but like it'd be fun to have people submit how much their yearly spend on their dog was.
Yeah, that's probably pretty crazy. I know for us, Danielle tried to sell me when we were gonna get dogs. They're not expensive at all, and it's like maybe if you did the bare minimum for them, but like the way that we treat them, they live a nice life and they are not cheap.
They do live a nice life, but
it's worth it.
It's worth it, and you can see like how much gratitude they have. They love their dog couch. They love getting their treats. They love like getting dressed up, going on a walk, all those things. They love it, and you can see it.
Yeah, it is one of those things that like you definitely have to. It has to be in your heart, because it's not. None of life is harder when you have to like, go out of your way to do that super long drive, like 17 hours versus 2 hours. That's a harder thing to do. And so like, you have to really care in your heart to like want to do those things.
And you do. I married a man who has the same love for dogs as me, which is also important. If you are single and looking for someone, make sure you find someone who matches your values.
Or else you'll break up 2 years later.
Yes.
you really need to have those conversations early on and make sure that, y'all are on the same page.
Yes, there you go. Relationship advice from Dani and Nick.
Yeah. No, that's from that. We're just learning from that other girl.
Yeah, that sucks. Hopefully she found herself a new man who is much better.
Yeah. If your significant other doesn't like, they don't have to like them as much as you probably, but if y'all aren't on the same page, that's not the right relationship for you.
True that. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.